everything you need to know about spaghetti squash. Ooh, this looks like a good one for dinner. Whoa, spaghetti squash is in season early fall through the winter. Here's how to pick a ripe one. Look for a golden yellow hue on the surface. The skin should be thick, and I have found that the smoother the skin is, the easier it is to cut. It should be firm with no soft spots. When you pick it up, it should feel heavier than it looks. Ooh! If you're not planning to use it right away, store it at room temperature for 1 month or in a cool, dark place for 3 months. Whew, the skin on the spaghetti squash is pretty tough. You know what? There's an easy way to cut this. Prick the surface with a fork about 5 times. Now let's head over to the microwave. Place it in the microwave with the prick side facing up and cook for 5 minutes. Once this cools off a little bit, it's time to cut it. Wow, that was a lot easier. Now you can cut it however you like for your recipe. Spaghetti squash can be a little bit wobbly on the cutting board. Here's the safest way that I found to cut it. Place it on a dish towel. This will prevent it from rolling around and give you more of a grip. Now cover the end that you plan on holding to secure it down. I actually like to trim off the end to give it a sturdy base. Flip it around. You don't want to cut through the stem. It is way too tough. Instead, just trim it off. Cover with the towel to secure, then trim off the stem using rocking motions. Now, if you feel comfortable, you can place the towel on top, cut down lengthwise, or I found this trick to be a lot easier. This is what I do when I'm cutting a watermelon. Place the trimmed spaghetti squash standing up, then cut straight down. Use gentle rocking motions until you reach the bottom. Done. Now just scoop out those seeds. You could actually roast these just like pumpkin seeds for a healthy snack. Now you're ready to cook the halves. I like to roast it or microwave. Woo! For the longest spaghetti squash strands, don't make this common mistake. Spaghetti squash is oval in shape, and the misconception is that if you cut it down lengthwise, you'll get long strands. That's not right. When you open it up, you'll see that the fibers actually run in this direction instead of long. So if you cut it down lengthwise, you're actually shortening the fibers, cutting them in half. Instead, cut them into rings. If you take a close look at the cross section, you'll see that the spaghetti squash strands are running in a circle. When it's cooked, you're going to get those nice long strands. Now let's compare. Let's scoop out the flesh from the halves cut lengthwise. Separate them a little bit with a fork. Ooh, as you can see, shorter strands. Now for the rings, I just like to pull the strands away from the skin. This helps separate them into individual little pieces. As you can see, much longer strands. Oh hey, did you know that you can microwave spaghetti squash? Let me show you how. Place one half cut side down in a microwave safe dish. Add just enough water so that it comes about 1 inch up the sides. Now we're just going to pop it in the microwave. Start by cooking on high for 5 minutes. Cook in 2-minute increments until the flesh can be easily pierced with a knife, about 10 to 12 minutes depending on size. The hot water and steam helps to tenderize the flesh of the spaghetti squash. Now use tongs to lift it out of the pan. Tilt it so that it can drain, nice and tender. Now you can just transfer it to a plate and it's ready to add any sauces or seasonings that you like. Check out those beautiful individual strands of the squash. What sauce would you serve this with? Let me show you how to roast the spaghetti squash in rings and halves. To cut the squash into rings, cut off the stem end and the bottom end. Now cut into 1-inch rings. Use a rocking back and forth motion. And if you want to secure the squash even further, just place a towel on top to hold it down. Now just use a spoon to scoop out the seeds. Brush some olive oil on the surface of each ring and season with a little bit of salt to enhance the flavor. Flip them over and place them on a parchment paper lined sheet pan. Depending on how big the squash is, I could fit between 6 to 8 rings. Brush the other side with oil. This is going to help develop a nice golden crust and so much more flavor on the surface. Don't forget the salt. For each half, brush some oil on the cut surface and get inside the cavity as well. Season with a little bit of salt. Flip them over and place them cut side down. This is going to give more contact to the hot pan, creating a more caramelized surface. Roast the halves at 400 degrees for about 40 to 60 minutes, depending on the size. Roast the rings at 400 degrees for 35 to 40 minutes. They take a lot less longer because they are thinner pieces. Ooh, look at that caramelized surface. Now you could serve these as a side dish or top them with your favorite sauce. You know what? My family's already hungry. There's gotta be a faster way to cook spaghetti squash. You know what? Whoa! Just grab your Instant Pot. Place the trivet inside a 6-quart Instant Pot so that the steam can circulate below and cook it evenly. Place the cut and clean squash, cut side facing up, inside the Instant Pot. This was a large 4-pound squash, so I'm going to cook one at a time, but if it's 2.5 pounds and below, you can cook both of them at the same time. Add 1 cup of water to the pot. Cover and make sure it's in the sealing position. Cook on manual high pressure for 8 minutes. To stop the cooking process, we're going to quick release the valve. To do this safely, place a towel on top. Then I like to use a spoon to open up the valve. Carefully open up the lid. Ooh, this looks good. There will be some moisture inside of the squash. Just tilt it to drain. Transfer to a plate. I like to just eat it straight out of this cute little bowl, but you can season it and put whatever sauces you like. Use a fork to pull away the strands. Wow, this looks really good, and it was so easy to prepare. What would you serve this with? Oh, hey Jess, instead of pasta for girls' night, how about some spaghetti squash? Is this gonna be enough to feed us? Oh, yeah, totally. A 2.5-pound squash makes about 4 cups of flesh. Oh great, this should be enough, but I am hungry. Hey Jess, I know I suggested that we should have spaghetti squash tonight, but is there any way to make this more tasty? You know what? I got you, girl. Let's go Casio and Pepe style. Drizzle on some extra virgin olive oil, lots of Parmigiano Reggiano cheese or Pecorino Romano, and lots of freshly cracked black pepper. This is looking so much better already. Done. Give this a try. Or if you're feeling like some tomato sauce, you could do this. Drizzle on a little bit of olive oil, add marinara sauce on top. Oh yeah. Lots of grated Parmesan cheese on top, black pepper, and some fresh basil from the garden. Here you go. Whoa, these both look so good. Which one would you pick? I'm going for this one.